That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're lucky you're getting that from me, and it's pretty much the look they give me. I'm
Can you hear us okay, Melinda?
Yeah, I can hear.
Awesome, perfect.
Hi, Melinda. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great.
All right, so we have got everyone here, so whenever you are ready, Cash, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I'll call the meeting to order at 6:33.
Okay. All right, Alex Dukeman.
Hello, Harper.
Matt Crabtree.
Present.
Melinda Ellswick.
Here.
Lauren Cooper.
Here.
Cash Parker.
Here.
Ken Chu.
Here.
Jim Woodward. Here. And then for staff, Eric Sampson is here, and then Council Member Wright is here from City Council.
Nice. Guess we have everybody. I'm just trying to pull up the agenda, Eric. I don't know if you have it in front
I
of
do
you.
have it in front of me.
All right, maybe. There you go. Okay. That brings us to approval of the minutes. Is there any discussion or changes to the January 15th, 2025 minutes? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve those.
Motion.
I heard Ken Chu first and then Matt Crabtree, I think. Was that a second?
Then I'll second.
Okay. All in favor of that, say aye.
I
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Jane, because I wasn't there.
Okay, so,
It sounds like Harper maybe I
Don't hit any keys, please.
so that's approved with one abstention.
Yep.
Perfect. Public forum. I do think we have a member of the public here. Is that correct?
I don't think you're here as a member of, well, as a
Okay.
public, right? She's here as City Council.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know. Do we have a new member?
We do.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
So,
sorry.
this is Jim Woodward. He is the newest member of HPC.
Welcome. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Jim,
Jim, if you want to just take a
Yeah.
brief minute and just kind of give us a background on.
Well, I'm a senior, even though I don't have the hair that, no. So I mean, I've been involved with the city for lots of years in different boards and council and so I was asked if I would be interested in being involved in this board, and since we didn't have this in the past, I said, yes, I would do it. I would like to do it because I do have interest and know some of the history of the city. So I've lived here almost 50 years now, so been around a bit.
Great.
About it in a nutshell.
Well, thank you and welcome. We have several members of this commission who've been around for a few years now. I've been on the commission for several years, and Matt and Melinda have been on it since the beginning. And Laura, you were soon after, I think, right? You at the beginning too. Okay, so we have 3 folks who've been on it since the very beginning, which was 2015?
I think it was
2017.
17.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we still have a chunk that's original, and I've been on since 2018, so not too long after. So it's the commission has evolved and changed a bit in the time I've been around. Certainly the time Lauren and Matt and Melinda have been around. We successfully passed revisions to our ordinance, giving us the power to actually recommend designation of landmarks. That was part of the Code Next Title 16 revisions last fall. City Council accepted our recommendation to update the ordinance from the 2004 version, which enabled this commission to be created, but really gave it no power to do anything. So we have not yet processed any applications for a landmark designation, but hopefully soon, and hopefully maybe we'll incentivize some people to apply, given a later agenda item about the discussion of the certified local government. But yeah, welcome, and thank you for volunteering your time to join us. Yeah. Public forum, there is no one from the public in the room. I don't see anyone online. Is that correct, Eric?
You are correct.
Okay, perfect. That brings us to election of officers. And Eric, I'm going to turn to you to give the rundown and the relevant rules, let's just say, about those elections.
So we'll need to elect a chair, vice chair, and pretty much staff liaison or secretary, and that one's easy because you only have one choice. So Cash has been chair for 2 years now, and according to the bylaws, you can only serve 2 terms consecutively before you have to take a break. Then you can come back in another year. So if you're feeling it.
If I want to do non-consecutive terms, I can come back after a year. Huh?
But he hasn't actually served 2 full terms, though.
I did take over in the middle of a term for Matt Crabtree, that's true, but it's been close to 2 years.
Okay.
I don't know, I couldn't tell you the exact length of time.
I don't remember either.
Yeah.
Technically, it was a term and a half.
Yeah, I suppose that is correct.
So thoughts on how we would like to proceed on this?
I'm
Do you
happy.
want to kick it to the attorney and hold off the election until next month, or do we want to do election of officers tonight?
I think, are we under a deadline to do it? Is that why it's on the agenda this month?
That's usually just traditionally done in February, because that's usually after the board has appointed all new members to boards and commissions. Council has.
Yeah, we can do it tonight. We can wait till next month. What does everybody else think? What does everybody else want to do?
I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I guess if no one has any issue with it, just to make sure we have the I's dotted and T's crossed, maybe we should do it next month if you want to check into the term limits thing and all of that.
Okay, so then let's do a motion to
Table it until March.
Yep.
Yeah, so is there a motion to table the election of officers until the March meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Melinda, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I think we can, well, do you just want to call the roll, Eric, since you're taking a
Sure.
formal motion to delay that?
Yep, Alex.
I approve.
All right, Matt Crabtree.
Aye.
Melinda.
Aye.
Lauren Cooper.
Aye.
Cash Parker.
Aye.
Ken Chu.
Aye.
Thank you. That is unanimous. Oh, and then Jim Woodward.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't have our rosters updated yet. Thank you.
Yes, so that is unanimous. So we'll revisit that next month once we figure out various.
Yeah,
rules
and I'll
around
figure
it.
out the date that you actually took over from Matt.
Sure.
And then and I'll just ask the city attorney how they want to do this.
Okay.
And can you go over the rules anyways, just so, I'm not familiar with with the election.
Oh, with the election of officers. So yeah, we usually do this every February. And usually the acting officers remain so for calendar year until the next February. So we do have these elections every February for this board. And we do the chair, vice chair, and then the staff liaison. And then just to kind of, the chair position can do 2 consecutive terms, and then it would need to rotate at least for a year on that. So we will be looking for somebody who might be interested in being chair here for the next little bit. So if that's something that you're interested in, think about it. Cash, you can kind of let them know the onerous duties
Yeah,
that are entailed for being chair.
I'm happy to keep doing it if it's permissible under the rules and you all want me to. If you want to bring my reign to an end, that's fine too. I'm happy to step into just a regular commission member role. Yeah, really all you do as chair is you don't even have to make the agendas anymore since we changed to be more in conformance with the rest of the boards and commissions. Eric puts together the agendas, you and Brian, I guess, jointly do that. And you have input, of course, but anyone on the commission does if you want an item on the agenda, since we sort of set those things at the end of these meetings, so you don't have to do that. Occasional things like the certified local government session, the study session with council, you might be called on as the chair to speak at such a thing. And then if we got a landmark application, that is where you would have some more formal duties, because I think you'd have to run the meeting and make sure that the meeting was run in conformance with all of the various rules when we were considering a landmark designation application. And then the recommendation to council, I think as chair, you wouldn't have to put that together. I think that's a staff task. We decided with the city attorney's office, but that has to be done in writing. It would be prepared probably by the city attorney's office based on our decision and recommendation in the meeting. But I think the chair would probably be expected to have some input in that, is the impression I got from the city attorney's office.
Yeah, I mean, and that's new. So
Yeah.
like the first time we do hear a landmark application, there will be an attorney present, just so we make sure we're doing everything.
And let me ask please, who from the city attorney's office was saying that?
So we used to have Sergio Renteria as the
Right.
attorney, and he left. And so my assumption right now, it would probably be Victoria McDermott.
And she's the one that has confirmed this information?
Sergio's the one who.
Okay, and I'm asking because of what during my part later, that's why I'm asking. So, okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
And then you have to run these meetings, which is obviously very difficult. So yeah,
Public hearing with that?
yeah, that is a public hearing. The commission is now quasi judicial with the passage of the revised ordinance. So yes, there is a public hearing. The applicant's entitled to come and make their case, and I suppose if interested members of the public wanted to weigh in, they could do that too in that public hearing. So yes, there would be. But we haven't, as I said up front, we actually haven't done one yet. No one's submitted an application to have a landmark designated. So everyone's a little bit curious how that process will play out. But we fleshed it out with the city attorney's office just to understand what would that look like as we were putting together the paperwork, the actual document, the application, and then where would it go from there. So yeah, there'd be a public hearing here, and then of course it's a recommendation to council. Council ultimately has to vote yay or nay on designating something a landmark. So that would be a further public hearing on it in front of council. So yeah, the chair potentially could have some more duties if there is a landmark application that comes through, but obviously the city attorney's office is gonna handhold that process quite a lot when we get one.
Especially for our first couple.
And then, I don't think the vice chair, I was vice chair for a while, I don't think the vice chair really has to do anything other than potentially preside over the meetings in the chair's absence,
Yep.
so, yeah. A critical role. And then we elect, I didn't realize we elected you, we have to elect you as the,
We have in the past,
Okay.
right?
I don't remember that.
you're willing
I'll
to, you're willing
I'll
to stand for
confirm
that
that.
election again?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
I know we did it once, and maybe I found out that we didn't need to do that, but I'll get that clarified as well. So.
Okay.
Because director appointed.
Yeah,
Probably.
that's true.
I would agree with that.
Well, thanks, Eric. So yeah, we'll take care of that next month.
Sounds good.
Perfect. The number 5, the Certified Local Government, the CLG City Council Study Session Update. Thanks to those who came, Ken and Matt and Eric and Brian. Appreciate that. That was on February 10th, so it was not this past Monday, but the week before. And the good news was council was, I thought, uniformly positive and receptive to the idea. Eric and I, and Lindsay Fluelling was there as well she's with SHPO, right? She's from that office.
Yep.
She had some very good information about the actual nitty gritty of the tax benefits and advantages and so forth. The questions were as expected. The questions were along the lines of, can someone hostily designate a property as a landmark? The answer is no. Inglewood's ordinance is not structured that way, as you all recall. It requires the consent of the property owner, or in the case of a district, 65% of the people in the proposed district. The other questions were, do we cede any form of local control by being a CLG? And the answer to that is no. Also, council retains authority over designating landmarks or not. And, we explained that it's essentially all upside. And I think the final question was from council member Sierra, which was, are there any downsides? And my response to him was that there are not, that there's only upside, because since we have the ordinance, since we have the process, becoming a CLG unlocks benefits for the city, for residents who have their properties designated potentially, and is essentially just positive across the board. And I think Councilmember Russell asked a specific question that Lindsay fielded about, could it, for instance, be helpful to the folks who are doing the restoration on the railroad depot? And the answer was yes, if they get it designated because I don't think it's designated as anything, but it is a historic building. It's one of only 2 of that type of railroad depot that's still in existence. The other one's in New Mexico. So it certainly would likely probably qualify at the national level or the state level or the local level, but that could potentially unlock benefits for them. So I thought it was great, and they left with a consensus to tee up the resolution to pass to make Inglewood a CLG. So Eric, what am I missing? What else did you have to report about it?
So I think you covered everything. Next step is the city attorney's office is drafting the ordinance. It is set to go before council on April 7th. Right now, we expect this to be on consent agenda. And so if any member of council would like to pull that from consent, we'll find out that night. So that being said, if someone from HPC would like to attend with me that evening, just in case it gets pulled from consent and there are questions, I would like to have somebody from HPC. PC there to represent.
And I will
as
add,
well.
because there was a study session and questions were asked, if there's a study session previously, it's rare that it gets pulled on consent, but it happens. I pull items all the time because you start reading it and you have questions.
Sure.
I'm notorious for it. I'm probably most guilty, to be honest. And if I have a question, it means somebody watching or someone in the audience
Sure.
has a question, and that's why. It doesn't mean it's gonna fail, it just means there's a question and you have to answer it. And if I have a question, someone out there has a question and I want it answered, so, and that's why. So,
Yeah, that makes sense. What was the date, Eric? Sorry.
April 7th.
April 7th.
Yep.
I'm happy to do it again since we did
Okay.
a study session. And if anybody else wants to come, by all means, but I don't think taking it.
I'd be happy to be there too.
Sure.
Okay,
Thanks.
perfect.
And I suppose we probably won't, well, we won't know if it'll be pulled from consent until the night of, and we won't know where that'll land on the agenda until closer.
we typically pull by 3 o'clock, that's what we try to do. If it's pulled, it's usually pulled by 3. Once in a while, if you've got a lot going on, a member does, they'll pull, by 4, but I think it's pretty rare, because we want to give people a heads up that they have to be there, so.
Is that a 6 PM, Eric?
Council starts at
Council
7?
starts at 7,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
study sessions at 6, council starts at 7.
That's what I figured. So yeah, that'd be at 7 PM.
Yeah, I should ask you too, council member Wright. Did I miss anything? You were there on the other side of the table.
No, I think you guys did a fantastic job.
Thanks.
And what's in the study packet, I have it with me, helps with a lot of those questions on the front end. So.
Good. Yeah. All right, so April 7th. Sounds good.
All right.
Let's see. That brings us to staff's choice. Eric, do you have anything else we haven't covered?
I don't think I have anything at this point.
Okay. Commissioner's choice. Let me start online. Melinda, do you have anything for commissioner's choice?
Just wanted to mention that I was at the study session virtually, and I think you did a great job. Thank you so much for doing it.
Sure.
And I have to admit, I was proved wrong because I figured the hostile council would, the council will be a lot more hostile. So I admit my error and thank you again for doing it.
Sure, yeah, our pleasure. Thanks to Eric for putting together the presentation. Eric's charm and good luck and good looks, and my words, I guess, helped us get over the line. So, yeah, no, thanks for attending virtually. I didn't realize you were there. Appreciate that. Matt, anything for Commissioner's Choice?
Sure. Yeah, a couple things. First of all, Cash, you did an amazing job. Thanks for everything you did at the council meeting. I think it went really well, and probably largely because of the way you presented it. So thank you so much for that. Second to that, Jim, welcome to the Historic Preservation Commission. It's great to have you. Obviously, you and I have known each other for a few years here in Englewood, so it's going to be great to be able to serve with you on this commission. The next thing is related to Historic Englewood. We have a lecture this month that's a little different than what we normally do. It's let's see, let me get the date here real fast. The lecture is February 25th, so it's next week. And it's a local author. Hold on, Harper, can you get down just for a second, kiddo? It's a local author by the name of Patricia Rabin, and her book, Truth Behold. She'll be talking about that a little bit, but what's interesting about the book is it talks about the history of, thank you, thank you there. Sorry, the history of the 1920s in Denver, and I'll read you the little note that she said here. Talk introduction. Patricia Rabin is the award-winning author of the Annalee Spain mystery series set in the 1920s Denver. So the 1920s Denver, when the Klan ruled the state. It features a young black theologian, a fan of Sherlock Holmes, solving crimes of the heart and spirit during one of Colorado's most dangerous times. So that's a little bit about the book, but she'll talk a lot about the history of that era of Denver, which is obviously very interesting. So anyway, February 25th, the lecture will be at the Inglewood Public Library at 2:30 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. at the City Spark Guild location right across the way there from the city center. So hope you can attend if you're interested in that topic.
Great. Thanks, Matt. Let me turn to the room. I'll just go around the table. Councilmember Wright, do you have anything?
I do, please.
Great.
A couple of things. The last time I was here, we had a former city attorney person here. And there was a big discussion because you're quasi judicial, if I could even be here or not. He was indicating no. And then there was also a discussion on how this commission outside of this room can interact with the public, and him and I were kind of going back and forth on it. I've muddled on it a lot. So I finally went to council the same night you guys presented and said, this is the quandary I'm in. What do I do? I've not attended since then because I was under the impression I couldn't. Council's like, well, wait a minute. We wouldn't have assigned you had you not been allowed to. Now, once the CLG goes through, that's a whole new bucket, and the city attorney is looking into it. But until then, like, no, you're more than welcome to be at that board. If there's decisions, and this is kind of what we talked about that evening, if there's a decision, if someone comes with an application, all right, I can't be part of that discussion because it does come to council. But in between all of that, I should have been here the whole time, and I should have pressed that, and I apologize. The other, when it comes to being in public, like we were discussing that night, yes. You're having them add it to the council or the calendar. If there are 2 or more of you speaking, and as long as you're not making promises, but you are representing historic preservation, saying, this is what we do, this is the process, you can be out there representing historic preservation. And it is on the record, it was on the 10th, and council discussed it. 100%, it's just like council. If there are 2 or more of you there, you ask for it to be added to the calendar. So if you're at Inglewood Nights, if you're at the concert series, if you're at any public event, there should be no problem at all at you representing this board and handing out the literature or anything else that was said that you could not do. Yes, in fact, you can. So when it comes to this is why I was questioning earlier. I think it's a good time that the board confirms any other information that has been distributed. We need to confirm everything and make sure. So I apologize. I probably should have pushed it and been here in the past when I was told, no, I can't be here. So until the CLG goes through and the city attorney tells me I can't be, so I guess next month I will be. So, and then your public events, as long as you tell them to put it on the calendar, if there's 2 or more, you are allowed. So, and that is coming from council and the city attorney's office. Ms. Niles, City Attorney Niles did confirm that. So
it's basically in accordance with open meeting
Yes.
rules.
yes. So, and I think that opens doors for you to communicating with people quite a bit. So.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with all that, and I play an attorney on TV sometimes. I don't play one at these meetings, and I don't profess to offer any legal opinions, just
Right.
with that disclaimer.
And that's why I went open, that's why I asked openly.
Yeah. But
you know, for council and city attorney in that meeting. So you could watch it. It's on the record. It's on YouTube. You can watch it for yourself.
That's
so.
perfect. Yeah, my takeaway from all those discussions was that we're perfectly free to your point, to be at public events if you put it on the calendar and do the open meeting stuff.
Right.
And, you know, like, just like as council, you can't necessarily express opinions on some issues that might come before you if you're doing a public event. We can't go out and express opinions about this is a property that should be landmarked or this one isn't. But public events, yeah, absolutely.
Right, or you can't guarantee that someone's going to get that designation,
Precisely.
that type of thing.
Exactly.
So, so I think that, you know, it allows you though to get the word out that you exist and advocate for what you do now though. And I think your hands were tied a little bit previously, so I guess that's what I'm expressing.
Yeah, and assuming the CLG resolution goes through on April 7th, that may present a perfect opportunity going into the spring and summer to do more promotional activity at public events, because that ordinance, that resolution passing is going to unlock some potentially valuable benefits for
Right.
folks.
And I think one of the first, you know, events is right out here in early spring, the Inglewood. I can't keep them all straight, I apologize. I go to them, but I can't name them. The Inglewood thing where it's all the different departments from Inglewood that's out here with the little tents. It's morning into early afternoon thing, and they might bring a food truck or two. Can't remember the name of it, but that would be a perfect opportunity, you know, just to get a tent and pass out some literature type of thing. So after get the CLG especially, so I think good thing, because it probably happens right after that Inglewood Days, Inglewood.
Yeah.
Block party, we've had presidents at the block party in the past.
Right, yeah, so.
Yeah, that's block party is always a well-attended
Mhm.
event.
Oh, yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of people go to
And this
that.
little thing in the circle, it's just a one-day thing. It's just the city departments and different
Mainly
things.
Public Works, as I recall.
Public Works, utilities, council has a tent. It was one of my first things that I did. I don't know what it's called, so.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks for clearing all that up and welcome back. Nice to see you back here.
I wasn't trying to come with my head down. It's just I
No.
was told you can't be here. You're
No,
not welcome. so.
I understand. So, did you have anything else or was
No,
that it?
no,
Okay,
just wanted to
great.
clear that up.
Yeah, great, thank you. Jim, anything for Commissioner's Choice?
Just happy to be here,
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome.
Happy to have you.
be back on something with the city after
Yeah.
a year of not.
Yeah.
So,
That's great. Lauren, Commissioner's Choice.
Yeah, so unfortunately I have to resign from the commission.
What?
I am moving to Denver, so I'll no longer be in the area and a citizen of Inglewood. So yes, this will be my last meeting, but it's been great. I've been, like we said earlier, I've been on for what, 8 years now. So yeah.
Well, sorry to see you go, but yeah, thanks for all your work from the beginning. So
Yeah,
miss
of
you.
course. Yes,
And you're someone that we'll probably stay in touch with since you are in the field.
Yes, please reach
professionally.
out.
Yeah.
I'm happy to
Yeah,
help.
we will definitely take advantage of that for sure. But yeah, well, congratulations, I guess. Good move, I hope.
Yeah, I'll move next week, so.
Nice.
What part of Denver?
Southmore area, like right just north, like at I-25 and 225, so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll miss you. Too bad. Inglewood will miss you.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sad to leave, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, you've been here for all the tough stuff, like the ordinance and all that, so yes, thank you for all your work. Alex, anything for Commissioner's Choice?
Nothing.
Ken?
I just have a question really about like, how do we go about starting to think about a communications plan for if and when council approves the CLG?
I think that's a good question. My suggestion, since we have to have a meeting next month for sure because of the election of officers, can we do an agenda item and maybe get someone from communications to come?
Yeah, absolutely.
To discuss that next month.
Great. Because I don't want to fall like behind the ball. I mean, if
I
there's
agree.
like a early spring event, it'd be great for us to be prepared for it.
I
We
agree.
need like a banner, or we need a tablecloth, or.
Yep.
Right. And then I would ask community, what would it be? Communications, all the events. You've got the concert series, you have,
Yeah.
the parks, not the block parties,
For
but
the neighborhood nights?
neighborhood nights. There are so many, and those are different parks on Thursdays where you would have opportunities. Because the block parties, the last weekend of August? So you have a lot of other opportunities just throughout spring and summer that you've got the concert series, which I believe is a Thursday also.
Yeah, and another thing that would be nice to talk with communications about is beginning development of some kind of material that for the website or in paper, both, that summarizes some of the potential benefits that will be available once the city is a CLG, to have that in one place so that there's an easy reference. And that can be taken from other materials that are already out there. Certainly, they can crib from stuff that like SHPO has or other available stuff, but having something that's like on the Inglewood letterhead, so to speak, summarizes those potential incentives and benefits for people. Because that's all, I mean, it's always people's first question, right? Is like, well, why should I hassle with this? And so if you can put a carrot in front of them that says, well, here's all the stuff you can get if your property gets designated, then that will hopefully maybe get people to undertake the process. Not that it's a huge process, but it's enough to be a bit of a hassle, I suppose. So I agree with you. We should get something in the works so that we have that, especially because all this stuff has to be vetted by the city attorney's office and all of that too, to make sure we're not speaking out of turn. So you've seen it. It takes a while for those materials to come together. So yeah, I think that's a good agenda item, since we have to meet anyway, to discuss that and hopefully discuss it with Madeline. It's usually been Madeline, but whoever from communications.
Yeah, I'll have somebody.
Okay.
If not Madeline, then maybe Chris can come, or there's a couple.
If I may, Chair Parker,
Yeah, please.
I might also recommend, and this doesn't have to happen by the next meeting, but maybe possibly we coordinate with other historic preservation commissions across the state. I've been in conversation at various points with Chris Geddes, which is the staff liaison for the Aurora Historic Preservation Commission. They've been around for a very long time, since at least the 80s. So they may have a lot of good input for us now that we've reached this point where we're going to be actually historically designated.
Yeah, and she came to one of our meetings, as I recall correctly, if I recall correctly. So
Yeah, that's correct.
That's a good idea, is to maybe do some of that work. I agree with that. So yeah. Ken, anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you.
I don't have anything else other than what's already been discussed. So is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second? All right. Moved by Lauren, seconded by Ken. We'll stand in adjournment at 7:08.
As she moves along.
Yeah.
Go out
I think we're
style.
all waiting for you to make a motion.
I got that one.
Oh,
It's
this
ready
is
to roll
this
out.
is a thing, but since we'll now need another member, can you set the wheels in motion on that
I'll take care of that.
process? If you have a friend who still lives in